Well, hello everyone. This is Katie from Vintage and Vinyl, back with another great live for you tonight. I've got some fun things in this new chapter that we are going to read tonight in House of Flesh, this 1950s saucy romance novel. This is a Fawcett book, a gold medal book. Now, gold medal books are fun because they changed the publishing industry. They really were the first true mass-produced paperback books, and also they made people be able to make more money because they weren't charged on the number of copies sold. They didn't have contracts with all these publishing houses like the hardback books were. So it really revolutionized the industry, and these books are really fun, and you can do a lot of reading on Fawcett and gold medal books. Fawcett also invented those magazine stands that you see that are metal and they would rotate. So lots of fun history there, and I'm excited to continue reading this book. Now, I got this House of Flesh book from Misty over at Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter, and she has some really fabulous saucy romance novels that she sells on her live sales on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock and the Three's Company sale, and then on Wednesday at 1 o'clock on her regular sales. So they're always fun to pick up, and a few other folks have had them as well. And I'm always trying to add more to my collection so we can continue this fun reading series here on YouTube. So let me say hello to a couple of people who are in the chat. I see Linda Punky's joining us. Hello, Linda. And we have Catherine, the eclectic thrifter, here tonight. Hello, Catherine. And Lana. Hello, Lana. Very good to see you. And Daniel is here from Tacky Is Me. Daniel and I might be working on doing a live together sometime soon, so that's exciting. And I see Deanna is here from Little Vintage Me, 64. Hello, hello. And Judy Scala, welcome to the chat. Donna DeMama is here. Donna DeMama, hello. And Sabrina Simon, she's changed her name, which I really like. Simon says, let's make a deal. That's fun. So hello. And then we've got my rockin' rodent Bob in the house. Hello, Bob. How are you doing? How's Vlada tonight? Is Vlada doing well too? Let me know. And I see Mickey thrifting in the holler. Hello, Mickey. Welcome, welcome. I think your friend mail package came today, Mickey. I'm very excited about opening that soon. I see Tia Fane. Yes, I am going to be reading some mystery novels, I hope, come Halloween time. I have a few, so that's exciting. We're going to do some mystery too. So saucy and mystery. Oh, and we have Mel joining us from Finland. Hello, Mel. How are you doing tonight? Yes, Louie is barking a little crazily because the dog park that's in our building is right below my window, and this is the time everyone gets home and takes their dogs out. So even with the blinds closed, she's still just going absolutely bonkers. So she says hello to all of you and hopes you guys are doing well. I see Jeannie is here. Hello, Chicago lady. Welcome. And let's see. Oh, Vlada's doing fine, kind of hyper. Okay, that's good to know, Bob. And Jay is joining us. Hello, Dallas City Vintage Jay. Welcome, welcome. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. The chat always flies by. So, of course, after this book, I will continue the reading series. We'll do some more fun books. And then I think come Halloween time, I will do a mystery book. So I've got several. Now, this book that I've been reading is very saucy, but it's also shaping up to be a bit of a mystery. So I think that there's going to be some of that in this as well. And this is very, very saucy and scandalous for the 50s, which is fun. Of course, though, in the 50s, there were a lot of stuff going on that we probably would be shocked by. But if you do a lot of reading, there were other things in the 50s that were around. It's just that we don't think of the 50s that way. So this is, saucy, but it's not too saucy. Hello, Diana K. Welcome to the chat. I'm so glad you're here. And my best friend is joining us. Hello, Chastity. How are you doing? You read mysteries. Yes. Mysteries are fun. They really are. I remember reading, of course, a lot of the plain, girl type mysteries growing up. I always thought they were so much fun. So I love those. And it's fun to read these books and just see what was in them back in the day. I really, really enjoy reading these, and I'm always curious. The titles are so wild, like House of Flesh. I mean, it really draws you in, right? So I have to know what's going on. So a couple of things before we get started with the reading I wanted to announce is I am on Facebook now. Now, I've always been on Facebook as a personal user, but I have a Facebook group now for everyone in our vintage and vinyl community. So if you guys want to post your favorite finds, chat vintage, talk records, whatever, you can join the Facebook group. It's called Vintage and Vinyl Treasure Hunters, and it is linked down below in my link tree. So go join the group, have fun chatting with everyone. It's an open group, so invite your friends and have fun posting and sharing vintage. So that's always exciting. I'll be on there as much as I can. I'm typically on Instagram. That's my main social media platform, as well as YouTube, but I will be on there and I'll post some of my finds and interact with you guys. So that's going to be lots of fun. Join the fam over on Facebook, Vintage and Vinyl Treasure Hunters. A couple of things that are happening tonight that are going to be fun is, don't forget, 8 o'clock, Vintage Rescue Squad is back with Misty at Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter. Michelle from Comfy Cozy Living, I believe, is on tonight, as well as Fatbird Finds, and of course, the fabulous Michael Todd. So that's at 8 o'clock tonight on YouTube. Also, at the same time, if you want to watch a sale and you want to buy some cool vintage, go check out Tim. And over the years, he has a fabulous vintage sale with amazing glass, really good prices. So Tim and Over the Years will be on at 8. And then if you want to learn about vintage, you can always go watch George, the Professor Uncle George, the Antique Nomad, at 8 o'clock tonight Eastern. So lots of things happening at 8 o'clock after my live tonight that I highly recommend checking out. I try to do split screen sometimes because it's very hard when there are 3 things you want to watch at the same time on, but I will try to skip around. Oh, good, Jerry. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're going to join. Hello, Blind by Beauty. Welcome, welcome. And I see Kat is joining us from Calypso Antiques. Hello, Kat. Yes, lots going on. I tell you, Mondays are busy. Monday and Tuesday evenings, there's always a bunch of things. And, you know, as the schedule grows, as our community grows, it's going to be really hard to have separate time slots for everything. And we're all going to kind of end up running over each other a little bit, not on purpose, but just because the schedule's getting so full. So, you know, you can always go back and watch chats later and, you know, watch sales while they're happening live, or, you know, do split screens. There's always ways to do different things and, you know, hop around and that kind of thing. But it's always hard when there's lots of things that you want to watch all at the same time. So fun things going on tonight. Hello, Elba. Welcome, welcome. So Lana, welcome. This is not a sale. This is just a live chat, and I'm going to do a live reading of chapter 4 of my book. But if you would like to do an email to me, whether that you want to chat or you want to send me some friend mail or something of that nature, my email is linked down below in the description box, so you guys can email me there. It is hard skipping around, but sometimes that's what you got to do when there's so much that you want to see. I've had multiple tabs open too. Do you guys do that? Because I did that one Tuesday. I had like 4 tabs going at one time and I was hopping around. So tonight we are continuing my read of this Bruno Fisher House of Flesh gold medal book. We are in chapter 4. Now, I don't read ahead until a few minutes before the live. I just sort of skim the chapter, practice it a little bit, but I'm learning things as you guys are learning them. So I am always learning it live, so to speak, as you guys are learning. I don't read like days in advance. So we're all having fun together, discovering what this book is about. And boy, there is some things happening. So if you have missed chapter 1, chapter 2, or chapter 3, they're all relatively short, and so you can go back and watch those, and lots of fun there. Great book. I must have good internet. Yes, well, sometimes I have good internet. Now, today I got pretty lucky because I will say on Aaron's sale, there was a little bunny record I saw in the preview that I just had to have. It was so fabulous, and I felt so lucky to get it because right before I got it, my internet was buffering causing buffering. So I was so worried I would miss out on it, but I was lucky enough to win it. But it ebbs and flows. Some days the internet's good and sometimes it's not. And I think that with everybody being home, a lot of kids are now schooling from home. A lot of people are working from home. Everyone's kind of on the internet at once during the day. I think it slows down speeds for everybody. At least that's what my local provider told me. So I think that's why sometimes the internet's just kind of funky. And it's all something that we deal with. The lag is always a problem, but we get through it, right? And it's fun. Hello, Angela. Welcome to the chat. If you're wanting to know what's going on for the rest of the week, Angela is the person to follow on Instagram at @Marksberry, because she puts out the calendar with all the vintage events happening throughout the week. So go check her out. Hello, Gabrielle. Welcome to the chat. I'm so glad you're here. Yes, it can be at times, Jerry, I will say. So yes, we are going to show the brooch as Daniel is requesting. So before we jump in today, I'm going to show you my brooch. Now I am wearing this toucan. I think it's a toucan. You guys can let me know what you think. It's a toucan brooch. It's very sparkly. I like the little green color. He's got a little jeweled eye. He's very fun. And I've got my green hat on today. So I'm enjoying that. And this is my very favorite shirt. So you guys will probably see this on a lot because I just love this. It's so soft, this jean shirt with my toucan brooch. So that's what I'm wearing today. And I'm glad, Gabrielle, that you're liking the green hat. That is awesome. So, okay, guys, are you ready to get into chapter 4? I can't wait to share it with you. It's very exciting. Katie, could you add the description and times on which days and what time you are online? Oh, absolutely, Mel. I will be glad to write up a post about that on my community tab. But I'll tell you now, I am on Mondays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then I am on Wednesdays at 9:30 Eastern. That's when I go live. And then throughout the week, I have videos that regularly post, typically at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesdays, I have my vintage video come out. And so this week, we're talking vintage ephemera, which is really fun. I'm going to share my ephemera collection with you. And then on Fridays at 7 a.m., this is a.m., Eastern, I will have my record videos come out. And my record video this week is the history of colored vinyl. So I have some really cool colored vinyl from the 1800s to show you. So I'm very excited about that. So that's what will be happening this week. And then, of course, you can catch me live on Mondays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern every Monday for the book reading and for a little chat. And then again on Wednesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, a chat with usually friend mail or a special guest. So that's what will be happening for me. And then, of course, lots of other events happening in the community. Hello, Victoria H. Welcome, welcome. All right, are you ready? Ready? Always buy a record with a toucan on the cover. Yes, Bob's my record guy. Thank you, Kat. I do think that he is fabulous. Yes, it is way better than saucy Jello. That Jello was pretty nasty. And for all of you guys that were wondering if I gave it to my neighbor, I actually ended up throwing it away because that Jello mold smelled so bad. But my neighbor actually makes these Jello molds on a regular basis and eats them for supper for herself. So I know that she likes them, but I didn't even want to subject her to this one. It was so bad. We'll be doing more of those soon. All right, so let's jump into chapter 4 of House of Flesh. Let me find the chapter here. I always say I'm going to mark them in advance, and then I don't. So chapter 4, House of Flesh, starting right now. Max woke me in the middle of the night. He was barking furiously as he raced about the room. Quiet, I ordered. That was 5 days after Gale had brought the dog to me and that he had learned to obey me. He spread himself out on the floor like a tiny black rug and whimpered. Perhaps somebody was outside. I lay listening. I heard stealthy movement, or I thought I did. If anything, it would be an animal. I fell asleep. What woke me up next time was a heavy thumping on the floor. I sat up in bed. Max was growling far back in his throat. trying to mute his voice for fear of my displeasure, and not quite succeeding. The thumping was repeated, a thumping followed by a clawing at the door. "Who's there?" I called. Silence then. I felt a sweat on my brow. The door was unlocked. Anyone who wanted to come in could have simply opened it. Any human. I got out of bed and looked through the window besides the door. It was what light remained from a dying moon. I saw an enormous form slink away. On the driveway, a smaller shape, less exaggerated by shadows, squatted motionless on its haunches. Dogs, only dogs. I returned to bed. Max had crawled under my bed. He didn't stop whimpering, and suddenly I thought of what Polly Wellman had told me, or at any rate hinted at, about Mr. Dr. Dong's dogs. Had they been sent here to get me? I regretted not having locked the door when I had been out of bed. I began to worry about the windows. They were all wide open through the screen. I thought of locking the door and closing the windows, but I knew I wouldn't. The act would be too much of a concession to Perpetua's worrying. I turned over the side and tried to sleep, but now bones popped into my mind. The 2 bones Max had found several mornings ago, several miles from here. Dogs could have picked them and cleaned them of flesh. Suppose some monstrous, ravenous dogs got into the bungalow to feed. Afterward, they'd worry whatever was left until some bones, like a forearm or finger, came off from the rest, and each would run off with what it had, or maybe bury it and dig it up later. But the bones would be the thing, and the dog and his bone. More fantasy, this time developing into a half-waking nightmare. I roused myself fully and went into the kitchen for a drink of water. I looked through the windows on all 4 sides of the bungalow and saw nothing. Maybe they'd never been here. Maybe I'd had a dream inspired by 2 disconnected things that happened several days ago. The findings of 2 bones and a silly bit of gossip. After that, I slept soundly. But in the morning, they were back with reinforcements. I saw them right after I got out of bed, when I opened the door to let Max go out. They were made for him. He ran a few steps towards them, yelped, and scooted back into the bungalow. I slammed the door. I almost decided to call off my pre-breakfast walk, but I'd never been afraid of dogs, and I wouldn't begin now. I dressed. Max was eagerly pawing at the door, but when I went through, he hesitated. Only for a moment, though. The morning walks with me had become the high spot of his existence. The lure was too great. He stayed close to me, growling viciously for such a small thing. When the dogs converged towards him, "Scat!" I said, "Beat it!" They obeyed me to the extent of moving slowly with dignity and then settling themselves down to watch us. There were 5 of them now. The largest was a mean-looking German shepherd, probably the one who had tried to batter my door down during the night. I wouldn't want to meet him on a dark night if he objected to me. Another one was a handsome red setter, and all the others, all considerably larger than Max, were breeds I didn't recognize or no particular breed. I knew very little about dogs except that too many were enough. I walked Max and they walked along. I picked up a handful of stones now and then and tossed one, without malice and genuinely without accuracy. That, at any rate, kept them from swarming over us. After a while, I picked up a sturdy branch. This impressed them more than the stones. Also, it was a weapon of sorts, should I need one. I walked north to the clearing besides the impassable sumac, where the other morning Max had found the bones. I said, "Max, go find your bones. Dig them up where you buried them. Go find others. Bones, Max." I spoke as if I were trying to explain something to him, and Max gave me the response I deserved. He looked up at me and wagged his stubbly little tail and didn't stir. All the same, it might have worked if I hadn't been out for our escorts. A dog would return to his buried bones. He might have dug them up for whatever reason he had buried them, but not this morning. He was afraid to leave me for a moment, when all about us in the brush, in the woods, in the sumac, Shapes slunked and prowled, sometimes fighting amongst themselves, but always near where we were. And the shapes followed us home, and I ate breakfast and saw them from the window. There were 6 now, standing, lying, squatting on the driveway, and the small patch of grass, now playing with each other, the blatant indecence of canines, never going completely away. An hour after breakfast, I drove to Twin Rock for a swim. Max, for once, had no desire to go with me. He had crawled under the bed and stayed there, as if hiding. And when I returned at noon, more dogs had joined the vigil dogs of every size, breed, and color. I had to plow through them from my car to my bungalow. And before I reached the door, I saw Jessica Hickey come toward me from the house. She wore blue denim slacks and a frilly blouse, and her foresight stride looked all wrong for a small, gray-haired woman. The inevitable cigarette was in the corner of her mouth. "I see you've beseeched," she said cheerfully. "You're telling me? What are they after? These are all males. What are males of any species after? Your dog's in heat." That occurred to me, but it's impossible. Max is... I stopped. "Are you sure?" "Well, I can make sure," she said. We entered the bungalow. Max came out from under the bed when I called. He was anxious for affection, but Mrs. Hickey didn't waste any time patting him. Efficiently, she turned him over on his back and held him pinned to the floor. "Of course," she said. "Didn't you notice?" I never paid attention. But look, if Max is in heat, she wouldn't be so... well, I don't know, towards those males. "She's only in the first stage," Mrs. Hickey said. "How long will her suitors be hanging around?" "Till she's over it. 3-4 weeks about. I doubt all the male dogs in the neighborhood have arrived yet." "My God, I'm not going through 3 weeks of this." "Either that or get rid of her. That's why people prefer males. They live their dogs long from home," she smiled. "No doubt that's one reason most people would rather have sons." "Do you have to compare dogs with humans?" "Well, there's not much difference when it comes to sex." Mrs. Hickey tossed her cigarette into the fireplace and laughed. I put a phone call to Gail in New York. It was only a few minutes after 12. If she were keeping to her usual routine, she would be still in bed. But there was no answer. In the afternoon, I drove to Fort Able for meat and other supplies. Wellman's didn't sell. It was an excuse to get away from the bungalow. When I returned, I counted 11. They greeted me joyously, as if I had come to let them in and hand them sex on a platter. The big shepherd would have followed me in if I hadn't kicked him in the nose too gently. I kept trying Gail's number. It was close to 6 o'clock before I heard her voice. "Gail, prepare yourself for a shock. Max turns out to be a girl." "Oh, why, of course," her voice came blithely over the wire. "Why did you think he was?" "He?" I didn't quite choke. "He? I've been brought up to assume that he is a male." "That's just a silly way of talking. People call dogs he, just as they call cats she." "All right," I said, "but Max, since when is Max a feminine name?" "Well, his name is really Maxine. I call him Max for short." I closed my eyes. "Harry, are you there?" she said. "I'm here," I said. "So are a dozen sex-starved hounds, all eager to become the father of her children." "No, Max is only 10 months old. She's precious, and I have no intention of being swamped by her boyfriends for the next 3 weeks. Now, I'm driving to New York tonight and returning her to you." "Harry, you can't. The building superintendent..." "I can and I will." "Why don't you take Max to a dog kennel? I hear people leave them there all the time until they get over it." For once, she had come up with a sound idea. "All right," I conceded. "Oh, you sweet, darling man." I said goodbye and hung up and went out. This time, I counted 9. Some must have gone home for dinner. I followed hopefully to the Hickey house, as if I might have Max, well, that is, Maxine, tucked in my pocket. The three Hickeys were eating at the kitchen table. I apologized for breaking in on their meal and asked Bill Hickey, who was a state trooper, where the nearest dog kennel was. There used to be one over in Gill Valley, he said, but I heard they've closed, and anyway, it's a good 40 miles. Well, what about Dr. Doan? Mr. Hickey suggested. He boarded Sarah Biller's terrier when she went to California. He was about 4 or 5. Do you mean Dr. Doan? I asked. That's right, Mr. Hickey said. The veterinarian. Do you know him? I've seen him, but I didn't know he was an animal doctor. I thought he was an MD. Mr. Hickey sniffed. I wouldn't trust him with a pet mouse, let alone a human being. Oh, don't talk like that, Jessica, Mr. Hickey chinned her gently. Just because he broke a rule or two. The two local farmers swear by him. They say he's wonderful with animals. He'll take your dog, Harry, and help us get some peace around here. Peace? Bill echoed in a whisper. He dipped his face to the soup bowl. His parents looked at him, and they assumed eating, and I had a feeling that I had intruded on something very personal. I broke the silence to ask how to get to Doan's house. Mr. Hickey told me that it was a couple miles from here and at the end of the tar road called Birch Lane. I couldn't miss it, he said, and that was how I came to go there. All right, guys, that is it for Chapter 4. So we will be back next week with Chapter 5. Lots of excitement in this chapter. Those dogs, holy moly, we got to find out more about that. And I don't like that Dr. Doan fella. I think he's done something. There's got to be a connection to him with those bones in the woods and all the other animals that he's had that apparently are vicious. And then his ex-wife or former wife just disappearing. I don't know. There's something there. And I see Venny's joining us. Hello, Venny. Welcome to the chat. And Tina Hendricks is joining us. Hello, hello. And Peterson is joining us. Awesome. And Mary R. Hello, hello. And anyone else that I missed? Let's see. Oh, good, Bob. I'm glad you thought it was fun. It was a very good chapter. Yeah, bones everywhere. That's what I say. Bones everywhere. So we have to figure out what's with the bones. Bob said, I held up some Jell-O mold and the dogs fled in terror. That's hilarious, Bob. Yes, even Louie would not eat the Jell-O mold. Some fell on the floor and she wouldn't even eat it. So that tells you how nasty that Jell-O mold was. I can't imagine, let's see what Daniel's saying. I can't imagine leaving my doors unlocked. No, you wouldn't these days. My great-grandmother did. Everybody left their doors unlocked, and they picked up hitchhikers, and they did all kinds of things that now you certainly wouldn't do. Well, hello, Fatbird Finds. I'm assuming this is Laura because I don't see the orange bird, but hello, Laura and Mary Beth, whoever is on. And so glad that you are here. I'm so glad you're here and joining us. Yeah, Louie ran away from it. I had to chase her to get her to not eat the rest of that, but she didn't even like it. Yes, people did back then. They did, Bob. It's wild to me because people wouldn't do that now. I mean, it's certainly not safe. Sometimes you forget to lock the door. Well, I bet you will now remember to do it because this book will maybe help you remember to, because, you know, you don't want a weird creature coming in the night to your house. Oh, it's Laura. Awesome. Okay, that's good. My son leaves his doors unlocked. You fuss at him. Yeah, I never leave my doors unlocked, even if I'm just going down the hall to get the mail. I always am very paranoid and lock my doors. Oh, no worries, Diana. I'm so glad you joined us. You have a fantastic evening. So yes, oh, you triple check your doors. Yeah, I do too. I go and I make sure it's locked. But I feel pretty lucky because my building's got, you know, a key card. You can't get in without the key card, and you can't get in the gate without a code. So I feel very, very special that way. Then I don't have to worry too much, but I still always make sure my doors are locked. So this chapter was fun. Next week is going to be really fun. I have to know what's going to happen with Dr. Doan. I really have to know because he seems like a very unusual character in this story. And I had no clue that Max was a girl. Did you guys know that? I thought Max was a boy the whole time. So we're all learning things in this chapter. And we have to figure out what happened to the lady from the post office. I was wondering if she would be back for another date, because that seemed all very interesting. So this is fun. Love these gold medal books. When you're out there and you find them, definitely worth picking them up. They are a fantastic pickup if you can find them. They're fun to read. I'm enjoying this one so far. I got this from Misty over at Thrifter, Junker, Vintage Hunter. And as I mentioned at the beginning of my lives, these gold medal books really changed the publishing industry. Fawcett changed the publishing industry, and writers were able to actually make money off of books as opposed to publishing houses taking commission and charging them, basically giving them money on the books that they sold, the number of copies. So that completely changed the whole publishing industry, these gold medal books. And they were really the first paperback, mass paperback books. A lot of books before that were hardcover. And then, there was a paper shortage during the war. So the only paperback books that you really saw were very flimsy and very small, and a lot of the soldiers had them. But you don't see a lot of paperback books during the war. And then after that, everything changed because of Fawcett and these gold medal books. So this is very cool. Oh, no worries, Bob. You have a good night, my rockin' rodent, and give my love to Vlada for me. If you guys are wondering what I'm talking about, Bob is my record buddy. So he always jokes about harmonizing rodents and rockin' rodents in our record chat. So I always say my rockin' rodent. Is the date the same as shopping? There's a lot of shopping happening, I feel, though, in this book, Vinny. Last chapter, it seemed like there might have been some shopping going on, but nothing came of it. But there might be more shopping. Mal says, thanks, Candy. Nice wake-up story with my big mug of coffee. It was a good way to start the day. Awesome, Mal. I'm so glad. That makes me happy. And Mal is joining us from Finland, so that is very, very cool. I love when I discover that we have viewers from all over the globe watching. That's very cool. Daniel saying, I'm looking all over your Coca-Cola trays now that I'm learning about them. Oh, good, Daniel. Yes, I sent Daniel some information on Coca-Cola trays the other day. He had messaged me about them. I think he had found the Menu Girl tray in his local antique mall. So that's very cool. I'm glad you got that, Daniel. And Vinny's in the chat too, and he's very knowledgeable on Coca-Cola as well. So always reach out to either one of us if you want to learn more. And we did a little deep dive on the Coca-Cola trays. I know Patrick does the deep dives, but we sort of did our own version of the deep dive on Vinny's channel a few months ago. So if you want to watch that, you can check that out. It was really fun to go live and chat with Vinny about the trays. Mr. L. Page. It's so good to have you in the chat. I'm glad you are joining us. I know your name, but for some reason I can't remember it at the moment. I'm still learning a few people's names. I think I've got most people down, but there's a few newer folks in the community, and I have your names written down, and I am working on learning them. So if I ask you again, I'm very, very sorry. Diana saying, Vinny, I caught that. The Menu Girl tray is very cool. Yeah, it's very common, but it's popular amongst collectors. Wow, I can't talk tonight. Amongst collectors. Yes, it is. I like that it has all the different seasons around the outside. The design is very, very cool. And I think the Menu Girl tray is fun. And I love that these Coca-Cola trays are on this wall. I think it makes a good background for the videos. And it's a fun collection to have. There's a few more that I want. I always kid Vinny because Vinny has trays that I want and he has trays that he wants. I have trays that he wants. So maybe we'll be able to add some more to the collection soon. I'm always on the lookout for them. I see a lot of reproductions here. I don't see as many originals, but I'm always looking. Yes, Vinny did. He gave one to Kim and Oh My Vintage. She won those epic mystery boxes. She won like 36 mystery boxes from the Just One More Dachshund Rescue. And it's amazing. She's still opening them. She got some amazing, amazing things from people. People really went all out and sent some great things in the mystery boxes. And Vinny sent that Coca-Cola tray, and I thought that was fun, Vinny. It was a great, great piece to share. Yes, thank you so much, Diana. I'm pretty proud of my little wall here. Oh, Vinny just bought a 1912 tip tray for $38. Holy moly, Vinny, that's a steal. Yes, I'm still looking. I only have one tip tray, so I'm still looking for the other tip trays. And Vinny sent me a few off of eBay, but I never win the auctions. There's always someone that comes in at the last second and snipes me. But I have to say, I was pretty lucky. The other day, I got a store display. If you saw my Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, which you should be because I share some behind the scenes things, I shared that I got a vintage tape measure store advertising display for only $20 on eBay. I won the auction. I was like shocked. There was nobody else wanting it. And that really surprised me. I thought I was going to get sniped at the end, but I didn't. And I won it for $20. So that was fantastic. How much Coca-Cola trays cost in the US? It depends, Mel, on the ones that you're looking for. The Menu Girl tray, which Vinny was just talking about in the chat, they're pretty common, and I've found that you can get them in good condition for like $30. But if you're looking for, like, for example, see the girl here with the telephone? That one is from 1930, and that one can go for like hundreds of dollars. Now, I was lucky to get it, I think, for about $50, which you don't see that very often. I mean, this person probably just didn't know what they had, but also conditions everything, and that one's not in the best condition. So the better condition the tray is, the higher the price, and the harder it is to find. Some of these teens trays, from the 1900s are just really tough to find now. So it just varies. It really does. You really, really want the 1909 tip tray. Yeah, that would be awesome to find, Vinny. That would be incredible. But I never have seen that one come up. I want some of the other 20s trays, Vinny. I think you have several variations of the Flapper Girl. That I call her the Flapper Girl, but there's several versions of her that look similar, and I would love to find those. Yes, Vinny's saying, ooh, I lost the comment. It depends on how old is and the condition. Yes. Yeah, better condition, higher the price. Daniel, how do I hang my trays? That's a great question. So I actually use these little adhesive strips. I don't think I can pull one off the wall now, but I have to do a video on it. I use these adhesive strips. They're for plates, really, but you get them, I think they're a couple of dollars. Like $2 and something at the local hardware stores carry them, but also I've gotten them at craft stores like Hobby Lobby. They're little adhesive discs. They're made in England, and I don't know the brand name, but they adhere. So you just wet them with water and then stick them on the back of the tray, and they have hangers, and they work really well. I have found that those stretchy plate hangers just don't work because the trays are weird and they don't fit in them. They're a strange size. So that's what I do to hang my trays. Now, some people don't want to have them damaged, and I don't have an issue with those sticky adhesive things because I've never had them pull off the back, but some people are worried about that. So you could also get a ledge, like a little ledge, and do them on a ledge. That way they're just leaning. That's probably the best way to do it. Oh, no worries, Fatbird Finds. Getting ready for Vintage Rescue Squad. Yes, Fatbird Finds will be on tonight with Michelle from Comfy Cozy Living, Thrifter, Junker, Vintage Hunter, Misty, and of course the fabulous Michael Todd at 8 o'clock Eastern. There's also a few other things coming up tonight. So if you want to watch a live sale, Tim Over the Years has some really fabulous stuff. He does glass and beautiful pottery and has just a great selection of things for good prices at his live sale at 8 o'clock. That's Tim Over the Years. So if you want to watch a live sale, go watch that. Vintage Rescue Squad is on at 8 on Misty's channel, Thrifter, Junker, Vintage Hunter. Now, this is all 8 p.m. Eastern, coming up in about an hour or so. And then also George the Antique Nomad has his premiere at 8 o'clock Eastern. So lots happening tonight in our vintage community. And you can do split screens and flip around if you want. That's what I always say. Hello, Jeannie. I see Norma Jean +1. Welcome, welcome. Vinny's saying he saw the mirror at the antique store for $450. Yeah, no, I wouldn't pay that, Vinny. But some of those Coca-Cola mirrors, they're, the antique ones, they go for that. But, Vinny's gotten lucky because I think he's found a couple for really good prices online. The key is finding people that don't know what they have. Like someone that's cleaned out an attic or an estate and they've just listed a bunch of things on eBay. That's honestly how I've found some of these trays. And then I'm willing personally to go down in condition. I don't need them to be the most, pristine mint things. And that's totally fine if you want to collect mint. I personally don't, because if I did, I couldn't. I'd probably only own one tray. They get expensive. So I try to find ones that are beat up enough where the price is reasonable and it's attractive, But of course, some people don't like that. So it's all really what you want to collect and what you're willing to pay. But if you find people that are selling things online and they don't know what they are, that's when you get lucky, because you can find things at good prices. Like the girl with the meet me at the soda fountain girl tray. She goes for, I've even seen her go for $1,000 online, and she doesn't come up that often. And I was really lucky to get her for that price. Hi, Nate Biscuit. Welcome to the chat. I'm so glad you are joining us. Let's see. I've got some extra fondant potatoes. Oh, Nate, I want some. Can you mail them to me? That would be just wonderful. I do. I love any kind of potatoes too. I'm a potato gal. That's true. Vinny says, I don't want minty mint. I just want the image to be visible. Yes, as long as I can see the image, I'm good. If it's totally roached, then there's no point in me collecting it. But I like where at least I can see the image. If there's a little bit of rust, a little bit of pitting, a little bit of wear, that just tells its story. It's been used, it's been loved, and I'm totally good with that. I like the look of rust and patina on things. Me too, Daniel. That is me. If you know, you've seen my apartment tour videos, I love vintage rust. I love the rusty, crusty, and dusty, as Michael Todd talks about from the cult of vintage. My whole house is like vintage industrial. I always say if I could live in a loft, like an old factory loft, I'd be right at home. I love the exposed brick, the exposed ceilings. I love all of that. That's just my kind of jam. So yeah, I'll show you a look at the full wall. I got this sign here. I think it's part of a larger sign, but I got this from Misty at Thrifter, Junker, Vintage Hunter. I absolutely adore this. And then I recently got this one, which is amazing, antique tray here. She's in pretty good shape for her age. And then there's the other. And this one I got from Benny right here. So I'll have to do an updated video on my wall and an updated video around my apartment. I'm looking at the time, want to make sure that we get a chance to get over to all the events. It's about 7:13, so I'll stay on a few more minutes. Yes, I got the Hamilton girl. I did, Vinny. Did I not tell you that? I did. I got the Hamilton girl. Look at her. Isn't she fabulous? Vinny, do you have her? I don't remember if you have her or not, but yes, I won her. And I think I only paid like $20 for her. It was a super good deal. So yes, I was excited about that. I may have not shared that with you, but yes, that was a big excitement. And I also found, as you saw today on Instagram, again, if you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram and on Facebook, because now Vintage and Vinyl is on Facebook. So if you want to join the Facebook group for the Vintage and Vinyl family. It's called Vintage and Vinyl Treasure Hunters. You can go over there, post your recent finds, chat records, hang out with people. It's just a fun little vintage community that you guys can post and share on my Facebook group for Vintage and Vinyl. So if you want to join that, the link to that is down below. It's totally free. It's just a great place to hang out and share your favorite finds of the week, or ask questions about vintage, or share records, or whatever. It's there for us to share and have a good time connecting with one another. Oh, you have it. Oh, I never told you, Vinny. Well, darn, I'm behind on the times. Well, I'm glad you're learning now. A lot of people to keep up with in the community sometimes, and I miss out. Do you only have the rectangular trays? I picked up the oval one. Daniel, I think, okay, I'm trying to remember now, because a lot of the teens trays get kind of confusing because the women all look alike, or look similar to me anyway. I think there's an oval one, but I don't know that Vinny, correct me, because I'm struggling here. I'm not sure the oval one is original. I don't know. Is there an oval one that's original, Vinny? I don't know. Maybe my week last week was crazy, so my brain is not coming up with what it needs to. But I will check on that, Daniel, for you. I don't have an oval one in my collection. I do have the oval tip tray. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Right here, I have an oval tip tray. Can you guys see that? That's the tip tray. So Vinny can type into the chat and help me out. As far as I know, oh yes, the Betty. Yeah, Betty girl. Okay, from 1914 is the only ovular tray. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Vinny. That's a big help. Vinny's really good with the dates too. Now, I remember some of the dates, but I always feel like I'm having to look them back up. I need a speed round quiz on the dates right off the top of my head. Vinny's good at that. So lots of fun coming up tonight. I want to make sure we get a chance to get over to those events. Don't forget, this Wednesday, I will be back live at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be chatting, having some fun with some friend mail. I've got some really nice things people have sent me, and I want to look through the record crate. So if you guys remember a while ago, Miss Pamela had a fabulous record carrying case with all kinds of records for sale, and I really want it. And all of you guys were so sweet. You guys helped buy the record thing for me at Pamela's sale, and I was blown away by everybody's kindness. I mean, people were so kind. So on my Wednesday live, I will be going through the record crate with you and showing you what records were in there, and there were some really fun ones. Vinny's teasing me. You mean record karate? Because a few months ago on one of my lives, my friend Adam from Record Crate came on, and I did not compute that his name was Record Crate. I kept saying Record Karate. I don't know why. Sometimes my brain reading the chat just doesn't catch on to things. And then I realized about halfway through the live that, oh no, it's not Record Karate, it's Record Crate. Which means, by the way, if you're not subscribed to Adam at Record Crate, he really does have some awesome records. He's a small business. He owns a record shop in North Carolina, and he does some really good vinyl chats with very knowledgeable folks in the community. He does cocktails in vinyl. I've been on coffee in vinyl, and he also does a great record sale. Pretty much every night now he's been doing record sales. So if you want to get good records, go over there and check Adam at Record Crate out. Your brain today. I'm so tired. Yes, Vinny, I feel that way. Last week was, if you guys know, a lot happened last week, and I felt like I was in a whirlwind, so I'm still sort of recuperating from all of that. Oh, no worries, Celeste. I'm glad you could catch the ending. Welcome to the chat here. We are so glad to have you. You might have gotten a reproduction, Daniel. I'm so sorry, but That other tray you got is an original, the Menu Girl tray, which is awesome. And you know what? People still collect the reproductions. There's still a market out there. People do like them. They're fun and vignettes and displays. And you can still ask about $20 for a reproduction. So, I don't think that you got anything horrible. So that's good. Um, Oh yeah, the oval trays around. And unfortunately with the reproductions, not all of them are marked reproduction, so it confuses a lot of people. And I have seen people asking big bucks for the reproductions here, and they're not. In fact, one I think was listed at $90 at our local antique mall, and I actually took it up to the front. I wasn't trying to be mean, but I told the manager, I said, I think you might want to reevaluate this tray. It's not $90 and it's not antique, and I just feel like someone might get gypped if they buy this thinking it's a true original. And I showed her why. Because the back was a mustard color. It didn't have the trademark and the swerve of the sea. It didn't have the American Artworks Inc., Coshocton, Ohio, and the date or any of that. It was not an authentic original. So I did say something, and hopefully they were able to help the lady understand the difference, and then that way nobody got gypped. By the way, do you know the roots of the original Coca-Cola Santa Claus are here in Nordic? The parents of the artist Hanna and Sonny Sandblom were immigrants, mother of the Swedish father, Finnish. No, Mel, but that is really, really cool. I'm so glad you shared that. I always love learning from all of you guys in the community. I feel like I'm learning new things every day, and so that is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love seeing reproductions sit on eBay for years and years at the price of the original. Me too, Vinny. I've seen that. In fact, one lady on eBay still has one. I've been following this tray because I'm curious. She has it marked for $300. And it is a total reproduction of the Johnny Weissmuller tray. And it's in perfect shape because it's a reproduction, but she claims it's an original, and it is clearly a reproduction. The picture is very fuzzy. The backside is a different color than it should be. It's not the real McCoy, but it's going to sit there unless somebody gets duped, unfortunately. And so I hate that. So you got to just be kind of on the lookout and do some of your own research, and figure out what's real and what's not when you're looking for trays. And it's all a learning experience. Boy, the first couple of trays I got, I didn't know much about them. I just thought they were cool. And then I started learning more and more and more. And Petretti's guidebook will really help you. If you love Coca-Cola collecting, highly recommend getting the new version of Petretti's guidebook. So, you can learn more. And Vinny and I will always be glad to help you with whatever we can and whatever we know. You almost want to say something, but at the same time, I don't want to get snapped at, right? I know you want to help people in a nice, constructive way sometimes, but you don't want it to come off sounding, out of place, and you don't want people to get upset with you. And that does become hard. But I feel bad because I'm waiting for someone to accidentally get, kind of duped. I don't want to say that the people are doing it on purpose, because I don't think that they are. It's just that people don't know. They just don't know. And it's easy to get all these things confused, for sure. The best Petretti's guidebook, yes, in 2008. And those are colored. The ones I have is not colored. So I need to get the colored version. I need to get updated. Oh, yes. How is New Zealand these days? I think Nate earlier was saying it was kind of rainy outside. And it was rainy yesterday. Rainy and cold. Hello, Dana. Welcome. I'm so glad you're joining us. So welcome. Let's see what else is in the chat. Do you look worldwide? I've never actually looked eBay UK, and I should do that. Now, I have shopped Amazon UK for a movie. I have a funny story about that. There's a little movie. It's a great movie. It's called Patrick, and it's about a little pug featured in the movie. and I wanted to see it. And I'm part of a pug Facebook group for pug owners, and everyone on there is mainly from the UK. And they were talking about, oh my gosh, there's this cute little movie. You got to see it with a pug. It's called Patrick. It's adorable. You must watch it. And of course, I have Louis, so I wanted to see what all the hype was. So I couldn't find it here in the US because it hadn't been released. So I ordered it through Amazon UK. I think it cost me $2 on DVD. Well, when I got it, apparently there's something called a region lock code. And because it was a UK version, you can't watch it on American DVD players. It was region banned or region locked. So I learned that you have to be careful with movies or shows that you're buying from another country because you can't always play them here. Now, I don't really know the complications or like why that is, but I learned about that. And Amazon was so good, they returned it, no questions asked. But then a few months later, it came to Netflix here. And I do recommend it. It's a very, very cute little movie. If you're looking for something happy to watch, go watch Patrick, the pug movie. It's on Netflix. I think it's still there. Very, very good movie. Let's see. It's too bad that some collectors have to learn from their expensive mistakes. Yes, Theophane, but it is a good way to learn. Sometimes it's just actually getting out there and getting the stuff in your hands and looking at it. Sometimes I think it's all about the details on things and getting a chance to actually see it. That it's kind of the same way with records. Some of the early 50s records that I collect, some of them are really, really rare. I mean, like non-existent rare. And there's a few that I want that, they're in the thousands of dollars and that just for a 45. And I'm learning, you got to look carefully at the details of the label because there's a lot of bootlegs out there. And the other day I bought Teenage Rock. It's one of my very, very favorite 45s. In fact, I was spinning it on Instagram for you guys. It's such a good song, Teenage Rock. And I got it from a guy for $2. Now, for $2, I was willing to take the bargain that it could be a fake. Turns out when I got it, the matrix number wasn't right. And the guy just said vintage record. He didn't seem to know anything about it. It wasn't the guy's fault. And for $2, I still have it on vinyl. But, with records, you really got to look because sometimes certain labels may have like the Beach Boys. There's a Beach Boys album, Pet Sounds. The true original will have a tiny little star on the back of the album. The repress of it, which is not a fake, but it's just a repressing of it, the second copy of it, doesn't have the star. So you got to look out for like really tiny details like that. It definitely helps when you're collecting it. And sometimes just getting it in your hands and feeling it and touching it really, really does help a lot. And yes, Theophane is back in the chat and joining us from Canada. I've missed you, Theophane. I haven't seen you in a lot of the chats lately. As Angela's saying, Theophane, where did you go? Hi, Angela, again. Oh, yes, I love the Beach Boys, too. I'm a big Beach Boys fan. I am still looking for the Beach Boys Christmas album. I just saw that album on eBay for like $150. It's pretty hard to find. So that's high on my want list. Also, I have a repress of the Beach Boys Sounds of Summer. That one came out for Record Store Day, I think 2 years ago. I got the Target exclusive copy on orange translucent vinyl, but the one that I want, the original press is, whew, that's a pretty penny. It's hard to find. I think sometimes that these records they either weren't well taken care of or a lot of them may have not been pressed. Some of the rarer 50s records, there might not have been a lot of them out there, as well as maybe they just didn't survive, and they're hard to find. And sometimes if it's a big, big band, everyone knows the Beach Boys and Little Saint Nick, everybody now suddenly wants a real original press of that. And it becomes really hard to find, but you have to just keep scouring and maybe you'll get lucky. Hello, Maria. I'm listening, feeling not good, so I'm resting. Oh, Maria, prayers. I hope you get better soon. We'll all be thinking about you, Maria. I hope you get to feeling better. Hi, Book Bewitched. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you are here. You slept through all three earthquakes. Oh my gosh, Nate. I remember you telling me about the earthquakes. That is awful. I hope everyone's okay. I think you said they were offshore, but that's awful. I used to listen to a lot more. I seem to be gravitating towards music from the 30s to the early 60s. That's my favorite, Teofane. I love 30s through about 1960s music. And I love modern music too. I mean, I still listen to Zach Brown Band. I love Jimmy Buffett. I mean, he's not super modern, but I still listen to modern music. I don't live in the cave, but I love 50s music. That is my all-time favorite era of music, particularly doo-wop, but I do love, 30s through 60s. And I listen a lot to the 40s station, 40s Junction, and to the 50s on 5. And then, of course, guys, if you love old music, I've talked about this before, but Johnny G, he's on YouTube. He has a channel. His name's Johnny G, and he does a live radio show every Saturday night from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. And Doo-Wop Bob, who was in the chat earlier, he's from that show. And when I go to Trisha's sale and you guys hear me say, "Oh, hi guys, I'm going off to my record chat," that's where I go, Johnny G's Vinyl Treasure Show. And he plays all original vinyl 45s from the 50s and 60s. And then he has once a month an all 60s show, but they're all super rare records and they're really awesome. And I just learned so much from him. So highly recommend go subscribing and checking him out. There's about 20 of us. So it's a really small chat, doesn't move super fast. Everyone knows each other and it's just really fun. So if you're packing orders or you're doing something on Saturday nights and you want some good music, it's a good thing to put in the background. And all of the shows are archived, so you can go back and listen to them. Let's see what I'm missing in the chat. I believe that Beach Boys had a pretty dark family life. I've heard some interesting things about the Beach Boys. I'm going to have to read more on them. Katie, what Beatles album are you looking for? Why do you think I saw you ask for something during a sale? Oh, Kat, yes, I love the Beatles too. I do not have a lot of Beatles. Actually, I don't know if I have any Beatles albums. I have a lot of Queen. I do love Queen. I would love to get the Beatles album that has Penny Lane on it. Of course, everyone's looking for the White Album. If you find 001, that's the Matrix number, the White Beatles album, it is worth a boatload of money. I mean, not like, $5,000 big, but I mean, it's worth money. So look out for the Beatles White Album. That would be one. I like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I think that's really good. Oh gosh, of course, Abbey Road. I would love to have Abbey Road. I don't have Abbey Road. I mean, the Beatles just have such a good catalog of music. I really would like to be a part of that. Yeah, Queen is my jam. I have, I think, every Queen record. I have Night at the Opera. I just got that recently, which I love. That has, of course, Bohemian Rhapsody on it. And, I love in New York when I was there, there's a little record store, and I found the original Queen pressing that has Bicycle Race on it, and it has the poster inside, the Queen album with the poster. And the poster is pretty saucy. I couldn't show it on YouTube because all the women are naked riding bicycles, but that's a really fun album. I was glad to find it with the poster. Let's see. Yes. Oh, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is so good. So good. It really, really is. Oh, Eleanor Rigby. Yep. I agree. Oh, it's okay, Jeannie. No worries at all. I found a Peter Cottontail record the other day on another live, so I'm fine, Jeannie. I was able to find another one, but thank you, and I'm so glad that whoever got that on your live was able to get a record too. I can't have all the records in the world. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Aerosmith is good. Metallica. My brother loves a lot of the heavy metal. But I like Aerosmith and I like Queen. Aerosmith, I've got a couple of their 45s, which is fun. You've seen the Queen poster, Kat? Yeah. The Queen poster is quite saucy. It's fun. It's fun. I mean, Queen just has such a good catalog of music. Oh yes, I got Bunny Hop today. Bunny Hop. was the name of the record that I got. It's a 45. And mainly, of course, the graphics on the sleeve were everything. Bunny hop, it had the little bunny and it had a little music notes. It was wonderful. But I've never seen that one here available. So, I mean, I like the kids' records too, mainly because the graphics are cool and they're a neat piece of record history. That's what I love the kids' records for, is the whole record history part of it. But that's going to be really fun, and I can actually spin it. It's a 45, so I'm excited to listen to Bunny Hop come Easter time. That's going to be fun. Yes, lots of boobies on that cover. Very true, Vinny. Very, very true. But it's a good, man, it is a good album. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with Disney's Haunted Mansion. Oh, I loved Disney's Haunted Mansion. And I used to go to the ride. When I was little, we had Disney Florida resident passes. You could get them for nothing. Now they're really expensive, but then it was reasonable. And if you were a Florida resident, I mean, it was worth getting a pass. And I'm only about 2 hours from Disney, so we could go down there all the time. And we would go ride the Haunted Mansion ride a lot. Now, what's funny is my brother was a little bit afraid. He would never go on it, but I would. I was always the brave one. And I went on the Haunted Mansion ride. I loved that. I remember we got stuck on the ride once. I'll never forget getting stuck on the ride. And there was a lady that we got stuck by the piano that was playing itself. And the lady in the row behind me was freaking out. I'll never forget that. We were stuck for like 20 minutes on the ride. Yes. Let's see what I'm missing in the chat here. I will send you a pic of some of the family's 50s 45 soon. Oh, I would love to see that, Catherine. That would be amazing. Let's see. I missed something about the concert. So let me go back up and see. My brother-in-law, was arrested at the Aerosmith concert. Wow. The rest of them stayed and watched the concert. I was at a Jimmy Buffett concert once, and there was a guy that got taken out because he had had a little too much to drink. And, Jimmy Buffett concerts are fun because there's all kinds of things that go on in the lawn section. The lawn section is the place to be at the Jimmy Buffett concert. I mean, that's just where all the fun is. And I've been to probably 8 or 9 of them now. I love Jimmy Buffett. Anytime he comes, I've got tickets. But I love the lawn section, and I will never forget that guy that got taken out. They had to carry him out in handcuffs during the concert. You love the bunny hop. Oh, you can lead the bunny hop dance. Oh, fun, Beth. I always kid whenever there's a break in the chat. I don't know how this got started, but whenever there's a break in the chat and someone's during a sale and I say, I'll be right back, talks amongst yourself, I always say, let's get in the Congo line. I don't know where that started, but I started doing that. Let's get in the Congo line. I think it's so funny. We play every Halloween out of the window for trick-or-treaters. Oh, that's fun. You do the Haunted Mansion. That's awesome. Awesome. Let's see what Vinny's saying here. Did I miss something? I chickened out at Six Flags. I couldn't do any of the big roller coasters. Oh, no. Yes, I mean, I'm a roller coaster nut. I'll pretty much ride anything. But when I was younger, my dad took us to, what was it? Not Six Flags, but one of the theme parks. And one of the roller coasters I wouldn't go on, but now I will ride anything. I love a good roller coaster. I think they're fun. Oh, love Elton John. Love Journey. Journey's really, really good. Journey's one of my favorites. Boston, I love Boston. But Elton John, yeah, I got to see him on his last concert before he stopped touring, and it was one of the best concerts I've ever seen. And then I've seen him with Billy Joel, and if Billy Joel ever came back, he's another one of my favorites. I would go get tickets if I could, because I love Billy Joel. My nephew got injured on a piece of broken scenery on a haunted house ride. Oh, it's a funny story now, but roller coasters are a little too Final Destination for me. So I have a story about Final Destination, and then I'll wrap things up so that you guys can get to the other lives happening. But when I was a kid, there was a girl in our class that had a sleepover party, and it was just a girls only sleepover, and I was invited. And the movie, I mean, she had a bunch of movies at her house, and I remember the movie she picked for us all. Now, this was, mind you, in like sixth grade, and I don't think that her mother was really around. I think this was a pretty unsupervised party. They let us. They didn't let us because it was her. She picked the movie Final Destination 1 and 2, and I remember even in the sixth grade, I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat with scary movies, and that freaked me out for the longest time. That movie, oh, not so much now, but then as a kid, it was like the kind of thing you would watch at a slumber party when the parents weren't around, but it was enough to give me a little bit of a scare. It's like me doing penny increments and offer ups. I just do it for fun. Yeah, Vinny just does it for fun. Vinny always keeps the chat very lively. And I tell you that we need that. We need a little laughter and a little bit of fun. Let's see. The Smothers Brothers did Aesop's Fables LP. That's pretty funny. Ooh, I'm going to have to look for that, Catherine. That is awesome. Thrill of the Thrift. Oh, for the thrill of it. Yes, it's the thrill of it. Oh, you've seen Elton John and Billy Joel. Won the tickets. That's amazing, Mickey. That is very cool. Yes, I was lucky to get tickets to the Elton John concert when he came here. But, man, those tickets were hard to find. Very hard to find. Yeah, I miss going to concerts too, Mickey. The last concert I got a chance to see was I saw Zac Brown Band. They came here, and the tickets were super inexpensive. I think they were like $30. And I love Zac Brown Band, so I had to go, and it was really fun. Really, really fun concert. Let's see. I watched Chucky when I was in middle school. Didn't scare me one bit. Yeah, I'm not afraid of like the old school horror movies, like Godzilla and stuff. That's just, funny. I think the special effects are, because, back then those effects were super high tech and very, very cool. And now they're just kind of laughable, But those don't bother me. But I don't watch things like Chucky. I can't. I just, nope. I will go to bed thinking about it. And clowns, anything with clowns are a hard no. I feel like Misty. Clowns scare the living daylights out of me. And I do not like them. I don't know why, because I never had a bad experience with a clown as a kid. But I just think they're creepy looking, and they're going to get you in your sleep, and I don't like them. You've seen Aerosmith, Metallica, AC/DC. Wow, that is awesome, Peterson. My brother I think he saw Metallica, and he likes Avenged Sevenfold, that heavy metal band. I think he saw the two of them in concerts. Some horror movies, I don't know. The gore is a bit intense. It's not the gore, like the slasher stuff doesn't so much bother me. It's the, come in the middle of the night and kill you and steal you away kind of movies that freak me out. And, blood, that just doesn't bother me too much. I mean, coming from a theater background, and we had to do all the special effects makeup, learn how to put like the gashes and the deep wounds on people, that's just sort of like, whatever. But I don't like the whole person in your house kind of a thing. And my friends, I was listening to All You Have to Do Is Dream. Now there's several people that did that song back in the 50s, and I love that song. But now every time I hear it, thanks to my friend, she goes, don't you know that's that song from Halloween, the scary movie? That's and I'm like, no, thank you. I didn't, and I didn't need to know that. I know it now, but that's fun. Watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It is, yeah. Now, if it's a really bad like horror movie like that, sort of just terrible, that's kind of laughable. I could probably do that. You think I'm crazy, but one of the best concerts I've ever seen was Kid Rock. I don't doubt that. I've actually heard that he has really, really good concerts. I've never seen him, but he's come here a couple of times, and people say that he's really, really good. Nate, you wimp. I like the soft music too. What is Nate saying about music here? Oh, Louie's into something. I can hear her. Louie, what are you eating? Oh, parrot heads. Yep, I'm a big parrot head. I don't know what Nate's saying. Let's see. Something with Nate, but I missed it. Let's see. Themes, fighting words. Put your jokes up. What Lies Beneath is the only scary movie I like. There's another movie like Creature of the Black Lagoon. I think that's a super good movie, and it doesn't faze me at all. Oh, you have a bum arm, but I still got my left. Peterson, are you okay? What happened? How was your trip to Florida, by the way? I loved seeing you with Alex at Chapter 2 Vintage Co. You did a phenomenal job on that live sale. I mean, you were just keeping track of things and doing a great job. It was so fun watching that. All right. Oh, you watched The Exorcist? Yeah, and it didn't scare you? Some people just, that stuff doesn't bother them, but certain things do stick with me for some reason. I don't know why. I personally like more of the comedy genre. That's more my cup of tea. Yes, now those I do like. Tia Fane, I think those are good. It was fun, but I brought home the warmer weather. Well, it's been pretty cool here, actually. And that one weekend you were down, Peterson, I don't know how it was where Alex was, but it was about 70 degrees, and that was like super nice weather for Florida. Today it's about 50 to 60 degrees outside, and I'm actually pretty much enjoying that. I don't like the heat, even though I live in Florida. Oh, the abyss. Vinny, I watched that when I was 13 and I still don't want to ever see it again. Some people have that thing about horror movies. We're going to have to see too in the next couple of chapters if this turns into a murder mystery book, because there is definitely some things in this book that are very, very interesting. I'd like to see Kid Rock in concert, just not see him and his. Oh, yeah, there's some political things there. I won't get into that. Well, guys, it has been so much fun. It is about 7:46. A few more minutes until all of the other fun starts on YouTube. So don't forget Vintage Rescue Squad tonight, 8 p.m. on Misty's channel, Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter. 8 p.m. for George, the Antique Nomad, is on with his premiere, and 8 p.m. as well for Tim and Over the Years live vintage amazing sale. So lots of fun stuff happening. Going to say hello to a few more people that just popped on. I see Cheryl Ross is joining us. Hello. Welcome, welcome. And Rita is here. Hello, Rita. Oh, yes, of course. Love Rush. Gotta love Rush. Moving Pictures is probably my favorite Rush album. And Beth is here. Hello, Beth. Awesome, guys. Lots of fun tonight hanging out with you guys. See you on Wednesday for my live. And of course, Wednesday morning, I'll have a cool video on ephemera coming out, so you don't want to miss that. And I will see all of you guys in these future live events happening tonight. I'll make my rounds and do my best to say hello to everybody. And I hope, as always, you guys will stay in, stay safe, and binge YouTube. Bye-bye now.